Welcome back to Cord Cutting today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting and give you my opinion on them, including another cable TV network is shutting down. This one is a pretty big one compared to some of the others I've shut down this year. We'll tell you what's happening. YouTube TV's rolling out an impressive update to its multi-view that makes it even better. They did this kind of quietly, but we got the full details. And the cost of TV is skyrocketing. You'd be surprised how much Disney is spending on its TV programs for Disney Plus. It's one of the big reasons why the cost of Disney Plus is going up this month, in October, I should say. These stories and a whole lot more coming up in a quick minute. I'll break it all down for you, but if you want to read them for yourself, come up with your own opinions, check out the show notes down below. I'll put a link to each story we talk about there so you can read them for yourself and let us know what you think. If you like what we do here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that thumbs up. Do one or both. Lets YouTube know you like what we do here. All right, let's dive into it. Another cable TV network shutting down. This joins a growing list. NBC Universal's Kids Network shut down. Warner Brothers Discovery shut down some of its Cinemax and HBO channels. Its smaller ones were discontinued back in August. And now, Root Sports, the regional sports network, which aired the Seattle Mariners games, is shutting down, and the Seattle Mariners are returning TV rights back to Major League Baseball. This is a pretty big one because sports have long been one of the main reasons people continue to watch cable TV, and even sports is struggling now. Now, you know I did a video just yesterday about the top 10 channels I think will shut down in 2025 and 2026, and I broke down a lot of them. There's two main things that are keeping television alive. It's sports and news, and that's increasingly dwindling as these sports networks move a growing number of their events to streaming. That impacts their cable networks. And with this, we're even seeing the NFL look to rush its TV deal to renegotiate it early, probably to put more games on streaming. We'll see how this plays out, but Root Sports joins a growing number of cable TV networks shutting down. There's been several others I didn't list that were smaller, lesser known ones. Now, if you don't live in that area, you probably don't care. It's a big deal, though, as we still don't know if, some of these FanDuel Sports Network and others, even though they got out of a messy bankruptcy, will still be able to succeed. Will they be around in 5 years? I would bet most of them won't be, but could be proven wrong. We'll wait and see. All right, next up, YouTube TV is making its multiplayer even better. If you noticed over the weekend, it looked a little bit better. You're not alone. They rolled out 1080p enhanced video. Now, this is their upgraded version of 1080p, their Ultra HD, which is a higher bit rate, which means that the action looks smoother. Bit rates is how many frames per second, different things that go into it, and which is really important when a football or basketball is flying through the air real fast. Higher the frame rates, the smoother that will look. And a lot of people noticed that multi-view was better, and it's because they upgraded multi-view to that 1080p enhanced on many of the feeds. Now, this was not announced. YouTube rolled it out. They often do this on YouTube TV just to test it, and then later, once they kind of work out the kinks from it, they make it public. So don't be surprised if it's there and then it's gone and then it's there again. They may find a bug, remove it, and make changes before they make it announced to the public. But definitely got a lot of tips out there over the weekend from readers like you and viewers that told us about this. If you have a tip you want to share with us, go to cordcarsnews.com, click on the Contact Us, send us the tip there. Comments here often get lost. Social media is not always places we're watching 24/7, but that Contact Us button sends an email directly to the staff here, not just for me, but to Raymond, Jess, and James will also get it, so they can get it. Even Becca gets it. So all of us will be able to get it. Do me a favor, send your news tips over to cordcarsnews.com. Click on the menu, click on Contact Us, send us a tip there. All right, let's keep moving along. The Roku TVs and Roku players are adding 14 new free channels in the month of September. This comes through the Roku channel. Now, they've been slowly, consistently adding more channels. We talked about a bunch of them added recently, but over the whole month, about 14 new ones came on. A few quick highlights on this is Yahoo Sports Network was added, American Pawn Stars or Best of, American Pickers, Law and Order channel, and more have been added. If you want to find the full list of all 14 channels added on the Roku channel, to Roku players, Roku televisions built in, but also on other devices through the Roku channel app, check out our story. Now, last week, we were one of the first to get the news out that Disney was raising the price on many of its streaming players. Disney Plus, Hulu's ad-supported, ESPN Plus are all seeing price hikes with this. And, a big part, they said it was the cost. Well, we did some digging, and forums earlier this year did a story about the cost of Disney spending on its TV shows. And it's expensive. Andor, the very popular Star Wars TV show on Disney Plus, for 2 seasons cost $500 million. There's some argument there that brought a lot of people to Disney Plus. It was very popular. But The Acolyte, the show that did not do as well and did not get renewed after a first season, also reportedly cost $250 million to make. And I believe that was only like 8 episodes. Am I wrong? Somebody leave me a comment. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. We've talked about this a lot, but the cost of making content is so much more now. The very first season of Game of Thrones cost a fraction of what the prequel that they've been making costs. And we're just seeing the cost of TV skyrocketing. It's all across the board. So, we just had the strike, driving up the cost of salaries and more. Fully support that. That's great. But it's not just salaries a lot of people are trying to point their finger to on this. I mean, everything from wood to gasoline to the list goes on and on and on and on have gone up. And this is driving up the cost. And Disney says the cost of producing content is so much more. Now, some of this I do question. Like, I would love to really sit down and look at the budget for Andor and Acolyte. $500 million for 2 seasons? Now, it was some impressive. That Andor show was impressive. I haven't finished it, but what I saw was very good. We'll keep an eye on it. But that's one of the big reasons why we're seeing these price hikes, is they're paying so much more for these shows. Now, one note here, I know I said it right in the beginning of that story where I said the cost of producing high-end television has reached staggering new heights with Disney, And I talked about this in generalities, but I used those 2 as an example. And a lot of people said, well, those 2 shows are the reason why it's going up. Maybe a little bit, but TV production across the board has skyrocketed. And it's at all levels, not just salaries, but rights and wood and sets and props and locations. So just keep that in mind. Wanted to make that clear there. Hey, speaking of Hulu price hike, Hulu Plus Live TV will be going up with this Disney price hike to $90 a month, $89.99. Raymond has 6 great options to replace it if you're looking for some options, from cheaper ones like Friendly and Philo to more expensive options like YouTube TV and Fubo, to give you a nice range of different options that may help you save some money depending on what you're looking for. Check out the link in the show notes. We have a full breakdown of all of them. Raymond did a really good job on that, giving you some options if you are looking at bailing out of Hulu Plus Live. And that's the great thing about cord cutting. Hey, there's no contract. Price hike? Well, see ya, and we'll cancel. Today in TV history, we got a couple big ones. 38 years ago over the weekend, Star Trek: The Next Generation started airing. Now, this originally aired on September 28th, 1987. Hard to believe it's been 38 years since Star Trek: The Next Generation came. I'll be honest, in my household growing up, that was must-watch on Saturday nights. With it, we often watched it every Saturday night as a family. Must-watch TV. Also, 61 years ago over the weekend, Gilligan's Island premiered on CBS, becoming an iconic cultural phenomenon. Now, sadly, never got as many seasons as we had hoped, but reruns have helped it live on. Of course, they made a made-for-TV movie and more, but it first aired on September 26, 1964, and ran for 3 seasons until its final episode on September 4th, 1967. With this, interestingly, a lot of talks that Star Trek: The Next Generation was originally planned to go a few more seasons, but they decided to cut it short when they had the actors under contract to start making movies. Would you rather see more TV shows, or are you happy you got the movies? Leave me a comment, let me know. Have you ever wanted to own a piece of TV history from the Henson Company? Well, to celebrate their 70th anniversary, they're putting more than 400 items up for sale, including props, puppets, and more from their shows like Fraggle Rock, The Dark Crystal, Age of Renaissance, and more. On that, I apologize, reading, talking, dyslexic doesn't always work. But a ton of the stuff is coming up for auction. You can register now. Link in the show notes down below. Don't drop the tablet, Luke. And you can find out more if you want to get into it. But great chance to own a piece of TV history from the Henson Company. One of the biggest complaints I've heard about YouTube videos is getting fixed. Now you see it, I do it at the end. At the end of my videos, you see these little pop-ups that recommends 2 different videos you could watch. And then I got some, please subscribe to me, subscribe to my second channel with that. Well, a lot of people have hated that because I've seen this too, right? It's covering something on the screen you're trying to watch. Now, I try to be careful how I place them so it doesn't do that. But YouTube now is rolling out an ability in testing, first spotted by TechCrunch, that allows you to hide these. So they'll pop up and there'll be a little button to hide them. So you'll be able to remove them from the screen and see what's underneath of it. Really great feature, because I've seen it too where you're trying to read something on the screen, like they're showing some text or something, and all of a sudden they just cover it and you're like, well, I can't read it now. Why tell me to read it when you cover it? So it's great to see YouTube fixing that issue. All right, Nexstar and Sinclair late on Friday announced that they're going to be returning the Jimmy Fallon show. They say they've reached a deal with Disney to address their concerns there. No public comment on either side on what deals were made. This comes after controversial remarks were made by Jimmy Kimmel. Did I say Jimmy Fallon? Jimmy Kimmel show returning to the ABC on Nexstar and Sinclair. We'll wait and see how that plays out. But for now, good news. If you live in one of those markets, which is like 20-some% if I remember off the top of my head, Jimmy Kimmel is now back on ABC. It'll be very interesting. It averaged like 1 to 1.5 million views. Now, with the controversy and everything that happened, his return got up to 6 million, which was still less than what Jeopardy did. So the question now is, though, will it continue at that? Is this a spike because of the interest, and is it going to fall back off? Were people interested in seeing what he was going to say, what he's going to do? It will probably linger for a while. I'm going to be very interested in 6 months now to a year if that's 6 million, which is a record for him in a very long time, goes back down to that 1 or so million it had averaged before that. Keep an eye on it. All right, next up, Netflix will reportedly be airing live MLB games. Now, The Athletic, who has a very good track record on these, has reported that, according to their sources, Netflix and Peacock have emerged as key players. That Netflix will be getting, no matter how this works out, they think that Netflix has a deal in place to air some Major League Baseball games, including specials related to it. With it, we'll see how this goes, but Netflix getting into more and more sports. They, of course, aired the Christmas Day NFL games. They'll do that again this year. They've been striking other live events. After a little bit of a rough start, some of their live events, they've had a pretty smooth run recently, including the NFL games over Christmas, going pretty flawlessly. We'll see if that can continue in the years to come. And lastly, now this isn't a direct cord-cutting one, but there's a cord-cutting tie-in, so hang in here with me. EA will reportedly be sold to private investors for up to $50 billion. Now, Electronic Arts, or EA, is a video game manufacturer, entertainment company, very popular in the video game world, making very popular video games. But it's also faced a lot of criticism, not just amongst gamers, but also amongst the different companies out there and investors there. There's been a lot of allegations on gamers that they're spending too much time making games for the stock market that they think will help their stock go up versus making good quality games. And stock market people have all complained about some of the games that EA's made are too niche, for a small market, not broad enough appeal. That puts EA in a tough spot because you're trying to please the gamers who buy you and your stockholders. And they look like they want to get away from that and be able to just make games that they think will be good for the gamers by getting away from the stock market. Keep an eye on this for entertainment companies. I've heard rumors more than once that several companies out there are considering deals like this, that maybe bring in Saudi Arabia money or other people's money, or merge and then go private, because they want to break free from having to constantly report their numbers and have to have this constant growth. Stock markets want to see growth after growth after growth after growth. That's very hard to do for a company. Trust me, I've owned several and run several. It's kind of more like the stock market, honestly, where sometimes your company goes up, goes down a little bit, up, down, up, down, up. But over time, you just kind of get this little up, down, up, down, up, down, and you keep going up slowly and steadily with very hard work. But there's always those times you get a little, hey, a client canceled, a partner shut down, whatever it may be. Google changed their algorithm, and then you figure out, oh, well, okay, what we're going to do next to rebuild. Well, that's hard if you rely on stocks because, I had a little down quarter because maybe a partner I had ended their contract. And maybe they just completely went out of business. Maybe a video game I did I thought went well, didn't. Well, now I have to lay off a bunch of people because my stock price plummeted. Look for movies to be the same. So I kind of went on a little rant there, but I think we're going to see some, probably start with smaller, but even some bigger companies consider in the movie and television world becoming public companies and going private. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's not like you just say, oh, well, we'll go off. Well, you have to pay off everybody and find somebody to underwrite that. There's a lot of steps going into it. But I predict we're going to see that in the next 10 years. As cord cutting continues to impact TV, we'll wait and see what happens. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Until then, take care, be safe. Have a fantastic day, everybody.